Hey everybody, welcome to Jen Lowry Writes. Today I'm dual streaming because we are definitely going to be talking a lot about plotting, planning a novel, and I was like, look, if my people over on YouTube want to jump in on this conversation, I need all the help that I can get. So we are on Twitch and on YouTube, which means we could split chat. However, if I do see some things that I need to throw up to the view up here, I can just click on the button really fast. StreamYard will shout it out all over the place. So that's what I'm planning on doing today. I'm working on my thriller. So I'm writing a crime drama, and I have taken on the task of doing things backwards, plotting the third act. So when I say plot now, I'm loosely brainstorming, just actually getting a structural outline together. This is the first time that I've ever done such a thing. So I'm trying my best to wrap myself around the brain of the plotter because I am a full-on pantser. I will tell you that because I have taken this story idea so slow, I've had days where I have had it to mull over and just kind of sit there and develop a little bit more, which actually is benefiting the story because things have changed dramatically since that first chapter write. Not only did I switch up my angle and the way that I was actually entering into the story, I actually changed my killer. I've already talked myself out of the one way that I was going to do this work. And it's all because I am kind of forcing myself to do this, like to take my hands off the keyboard. And I've asked my friends to be my accountability partners to don't let me type and hit the button that says publish on some of the other books that I had finished, but also to hold me accountable. So that way, I can try to do this one chapter a day concept and actually try to plot. So I got on Twitter and I asked for advice. How do you guys do it? What are some things you do? And someone was like, I create a timeline of events using Google Sheets. So I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool idea. Let me try that. So today I am honoring this person's idea, and I'm going to let this person know because let's see if I can find it. There's so many comments on Twitter since then. Let me see if I can find it. I'm talking a big talk right now. I might not be able to. But I would like to say, yeah. Okay, here it is. And then, so C.H. Gruzman said, I use Excel for a timeline. I'm going to let them know. I'm going to put, thanks for this idea. I used Canva and created a timeline today for, I'm not completely finished, but I started it today with the images from a thriller. I loved this idea. Very helpful to me. Okay. So I'll let C.H. Gruzman know because I was like, yeah. It's heavy. It's very heavy. Okay. I was talking on Twitter about, I finished The Mentalist last night, and I was like, where can I go from here? Honestly, I have nowhere else to go from here. Then my son is watching Cold Case Files on Netflix. So he's like, Mama, do that one. Trust me, you'll like it. And I watched episode 1, and somebody just asked me, was it appropriate for an 11-year-old? And I'm like, my son, my kids, they watch stuff. He's 12, but it is heavy. I just wanted to let them know. Not everybody can handle some of that heavy thing stuff at a young age like that. That stuff was tough. That first episode was about a child being abducted. It is tough. Tough. Okay, so I'm live on Twitch right now, talking about plotting. I would love to have a conversation about what other authors are doing. How do you plot a novel? And then I'm going to give them just my Twitch, because maybe we'll get some people over here. Maybe we can talk about it. So I looked at Alexa Dawn's YouTube videos where she was talking about you take Act 3. Tish, I am so glad you're here. Okay. Tish, have you ever seen any of Alexa Dawn's videos? Because her thriller videos that she her thriller videos that she put out really are so cool for mystery, tension, and suspense. They're like super, super good. I want to encourage you. So I actually did something for the first time. I've committed myself to doing some of those plotting techniques that she talked about. I want to try it. I want to see if it works for me, because, I'm a pantser, but I have loosely structured. Yeah, I'm going to pull it up right now because that junk is good, y'all. And Anne had texted me about her the other day, and I have followed her. I have followed her for such a long time. So all her videos, and I, watched a ton of her stuff. And I was like, let's start. How to plot a thriller. Let me get it. Plot your thriller backwards. Okay, see, there's like so many ones I want you to watch. I want you to watch that one when you get a chance. And I'm going to tell you, I actually pulled up. It is so good, Sally. Okay, I'm giving you guys the link. Sally, this is Tish. I don't know if, Tish, do you remember when Sally came to one of our webinars? Sally, Tish is one of my dear author friends. I know maybe y'all connected. I know Anne remembers Sally too. Anne told me, yay, Anne's coming too. Anne's already texted me that she's going to be here. But I'm telling you guys, okay, so here's what it was. I watched this, so I'm writing a thriller, and this is all something new to me. Now, Tish, this stuff has changed so much. And it's because I'm sitting on the idea and I'm not like crazy jumping in like I usually do. So last summer, I was actually writing like 7 chapters a day. Now I'm writing 1 chapter a day. And it is so different. I'm loving this. And I'm actually, exploring the genre more. I'm reading every day, of course, like I've always done. Hey, Salty Ghost. Hopefully, yay. There's Anne too. Salty Ghost, we've got Sally with us. She's another author. Salty Ghost is a gamer, Sally. And Salty Ghost hangs out with us. So you got to watch that Alexa Dawn video, because you can ask Anne. That's some good stuff. And it's really about the questioning technique that I like to use myself when I'm reflecting, like with my reflective practice techniques for coaching and all of that. That's what she was allowing me to do. She was giving me room, like, to do all of that stuff. So I was watching the YouTube video, and then I took, Anne's talking about her inciting incident. She had to work it out. After watching a lot of this stuff, it really brings some good questioning out for you, Tish, to brainstorm. I want you guys to tell me how you write too. Do you plan, plot? Do you do all of that heavy outlining, or do you pants like me? I'm the gardener. I like to say I'm a gardener. That whole pantser stuff, so weird. So Salty Ghost, there's like 3 types of writers that they like to categorize. So I'm teaching you. So Anne does bare bone outlining and then pantsing. So that's like a combination. They call those plantsers. Okay. Then you've got a pantser or gardener. That is somebody who just sits at that screen and just types away. That is so me. And then you've got the plotter person who's like an architect. And so Salty Ghost, they actually have like these categories. I could be missing categories, guys. Y'all tell me one. But the plotter, the architect has never been my style. And I always tell people, never try to force something. You shouldn't. However, in order for me to kind of understand it, I was like, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to do something new. And I'm challenging myself to go and try to do, it's kind of like the way that people approach their writing process. And so Tish Pants, she's a gardener. She just likes to sit and let the story tell itself. And it goes and it flows and it does its thing. And so now Tish is starting to learn it. Have you just started it recently, Tish? Or is this something that you've been doing with this novel the whole time? So like, how long has your timeline been to be this plantser? Because mine has just been within the past week. Because that's really since I've started writing this thriller. I'm like, wow. Oh my gosh. Who in the world could, Anne? Yeah. I'd like to know what Sally does too. How does Sally approach writing? And I love to see different authors and their way they go. Yeah. Well, see, Sally, that's the thing. Like, that's me. And I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to see what it's like to be this architect. And I want to try it. So I started watching YouTube videos and I started looking at Save the Cat Beats. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. Yeah, so I'm not doing a detailed outline, but what I have done has been like revolutionary for me. And it was just to take notes. I took some, like a note-taking sheet. I'm going to end up telling you, Tish, watch that video by Alexa Dawn. That junk is the bomb. So I'm going to show my screen. I can't watch YouTube with you guys, which would be really cool if we could like break it apart together and have like a YouTube party. But okay. So this one, plot a thriller backwards. How to plot a thriller. This goes with mystery, tension, suspense. Really, it's just so cool. And even if you're not writing a thriller right now or a mystery, it's still cool to look at the way she describes Act 3, because I think it could bring a lot of clarity to people that might not understand that books are really broken up into that 3-act sequence. Tish, I know that you're doing the snowflake method, and it was hilarious because you're the one that talks the snowflake method. And she actually said in one of her videos, she said, I tried the snowflake method and I just couldn't. And I put it there and that is proof that everybody finds their way. So Sally, my challenge to me and you is to let's consider looking at some of these different types of methods, because we never know what really is going to work for us. Like every time I've looked at Save the Cat Beats, every time I've seen it, I've just been like, no, I'm a pantser. And I'll turn my head and I'll be like, no, get behind me. But There are some really good points here. These plot beats are really important for novel structure. And I can see exactly, Sally. And that's what I'm learning. That's what I'm trying to do. So Tish has a video series all about the snowflake method. And so, Tish, do you have those still up? Did you go in and put those up? See, look at this, Tish. You are meant to be in this conversation. So what do you think about the novel, Save the Cat, Write the Novel? The ebook was $4.99 yesterday. I'm a Kindle reader now. I have totally adapted to Kindle reads because of doing Libby Library books and everything. What do you think of the book? Would you recommend it for me to get it, Tish, now that I'm learning the language of this life? Learning a new language of how to write this way. So let's see if Tish would recommend the book. She's talking about, I'm going to show you, so you can actually go to Jessica Brody's website and she gives you the starter kit. So see, you can get 15 beats plus beat. So, let's just do this thing. Let's just go ahead. Give me this starter kit. Send this to me. Thank you. Your free digital gift is on its way. If you don't see it, check your spam. And it's going to thank you, Jessica Brody. I love free things. Okay. Save the Cat writes a novel. And so I already found on the website, they already have like some of the resources. And Alexa Dawn, I put and on, it's Alexa. Anyway, did you hear that? Thanks for signing up. Here's your starter kit. Good, okay. Yeah, I'm going to see what Tish, let me see if Tish has said it. So it's almost like the snowflake method is condensed in 3 acts. Yeah, the 3-act structure is just a common structural element. Yeah, Reedsy also has the 3-act structure guidelines. So does the guy that does the DIY planning. I actually have Reedsy's. I shared Reedsy's with y'all. You could get Reedsy's 3-part structure. And Sally, I don't know if you've seen this. I know you know what Reedsy, because we were talking about it yesterday. You can actually take the 3-part, 3 acts and type into it. So you can actually keep yourself a note sheet. And Reedsy gives you that for free. Yeah, I bet you, Ann, that it goes with that one. And so it's really the snowflake method that you're doing. I'll see if I can find it, Sally. I'm going to go try to pull it up because it's like Reedsy 3-act structure. Let's see. It knew what I was going to say. How to write a novel using the 3-act structure. And then see how they do the plot points. Anne was going back, even though Anne is near the end in Act 3, she went back to Act 1 today and cleaned up her inciting incident. See, there's the free course. Here's the setup, exposition, inciting incident, plot point 1, confrontation. So this one, there it is. So if you keep scrolling down off of this blog, do you see that free download 3-act structure template? You actually get to type in it. It's really cool. I sent it to the WWJs when I found it because here, I'm going to share it with you on this link. So now you guys can pull up that 3-act structure. If you didn't get it, you've got it now. And so Tish has totally changed it. Well, you know I've changed chapter 1, and then I wrote chapter 2, got it solid. I wrote chapter 3 yesterday, and Tish, it was hilarious. I was doing the write-in, and I got to 17 minutes, and it said hi, and it was ready to shake his hand. And he was like, and I didn't know his name, but his name is Ben. So he's a Benjamin. And she actually like blurts out that, oh, so parts of the tribe of Benjamin. But Ben is a good name for him. And I love Ben's meaning. I love that, that name and the meaning. So yeah, Tish, it was hilarious with the write-in yesterday, doing that 17 minutes. But I got to read out loud. I know you were feeling really bad yesterday, Tish. One, I hope you're feeling better. It's just so good to see you in the chat. I hope your allergies have gone away and the medicine's working. Oh, so see, now you found another why. You've got a why, Anne. And those whys help you push the story, help you push that plot along. So I did loose note taking. So here I was watching Plot a Thriller backwards, and I realized that I needed to actually get a Google Doc up. You could use your journal for this if that's what you want to do, but here's why I chose to do a Google Doc, because I could go back in it between multiple computers, of course, but I would be able to answer and type and kind of structure around it right then. And I didn't have to worry about leaving spaces and running out of spaces. So I actually took Plot a Thriller backwards and took tons of notes. I'm going to tell you guys the notes that I took. So like I took 4 pages, guys, like 4 pages of notes just from 2 of her videos. That's how beneficial, like, I thought her videos were. So if I got 2 good, I'm glad, Tish. Cool. So I ended up getting 2 pages of notes from that first video, and they were shorthand notes, but they allowed me to really consider that Act 3. So Tish, have you planned out structurally your Act 3 yet? Because that is really eye-opening to me for the thriller mystery concept of really knowing who your foils are, you know, where your dead ends are going, all of that. And so thinking of it that way, so you did that. Yeah, I'm doing that now. So I did a lot of brainstorming. And so that one video I showed you helped me with that. And then I'm going to go to Alexa Dawn's channel. I don't want it to play. Because there is a second video that I told Anne after that one, because she was the one that sent me this one, but there is a second one that you need to watch. And it's the, now she actually has the intro beats. So if you're working intro to the story beats of Save the Cat, she has a video that goes right along with Save the Cat. There it is. I'm going to show the screen again because I wanted to find it. She's got tons of videos. I've watched. I love her anyway. So she actually, there's tons of people that are breaking down Save the Cat. Do you see must know thriller beats? This goes with mystery, tension, and suspenseful, you know, books. And she's got the 3-act structure. And so, like, again, whether you're using the snowflake method, which is that 3-act structure, that if you're taking that Reedsy outline, if you're using Save the Cat, and you're just, you know, or you're just wanting to know, well, how do I kind of do a loose organization? I'm doing a very loose organization here. It is something that my brain knows what's happening. I'm not forcing something detailed, but I'm doing snapshots. And I'm using these 2 videos. I might be able to get away with like the notes that I took and the website, because her the Save the Cat actually has like this beat sheet that you could get. And Tish, you're going to recognize this. You see how I took the picture of the beat sheet and I put it here in a Jamboard on Google Drive. And so now if I need to refer to see where I'm at, I can now go and just create a sticky note and I can say, okay, so she's, assign the case. That's the first thing that happens, in the first one. So the opening image is assigning the case and meeting the team. And then the theme stated is about, that went behind. No, I don't want it to go behind. I've never done it with a picture. I want to play with this. Okay, like that. And so I already know the theme. The theme is already stated, and it is about her faith, because I'm writing a Christian-based thriller. My main character, she is the one on the team that has the faith. That's what brings her into the investigation to begin with. They're like, we need someone with your special talents here, your eye. And so the theme was already stated. And so now the setup is them going to the first crime scene. So they're going to go back to the cold case file of the first crime scene because these murders have been going on over seasons. So the catalyst is going to be when they get to the crime scene, they find something there that was not there before. And it's going to spark them going out and saying, okay, new evidence, new thing. I already know what the thing is, kind of. We'll say kind of. But do you see how really cool this just beat sheet visualization is? Like, I think it is amazing. So how did I create the board? I love the board. I taught Tish and them how to make it. Tish, do you still like Jamboard? Sally is saying she thinks it looks awesome. I love Jamboard. I can show you really quick, Sally. It'll take a second, and you are going to love it. Let me pull it up because you're really going to like Jamboard. So you go to your, I call this like the little rubrics cube thingy in Google, and just go to Jamboard. Look at all of my Jamboards. You can see that I actually love this so much. And I want to talk to you about Bad to the Bone. Like for Bad to the Bone, I redid it and it really captured my editing process because I rewrote a book. I started a book. It had 2,000 words. I ended the book with almost 24,000 words within a rewrite. So I did a complete rewrite, but I did it chapter by chapter on here as an edit. So now instead of doing an edit, I'm actually doing it from the beginning. I'm not, and I'm trying this. So all you do is hit the plus sign, and it's your untitled jam. And so this is our practice one. And I just personally like the black background. So you see this add an image, you can click here and you can do, I don't know if you can find it this way, but I went and I found there it is. Save the cat beat sheet, and you select it. And then there you go. Oh, somebody just got us a WWJ, guys. We got us a new order. They're coming to the conference. And so then I just played around with this because it's just for me. So I don't really need like all of that. You just make it big by pulling it from the bottom. I couldn't pull it any other way except by pulling it from the bottom. But this is how you do your little sticky notes. And I color code things. And then you can do like, this is the page one. Then you can have a second frame and you could just keep brainstorming boards. Another really good thing about Jamboard is if you want someone to like look at your process or you want someone to help you brainstorm together, Like they can help you make sticky notes and you both could be working on this sheet together. So I think that's really cool for co-authors or just people who like to have brainstorming partners. You can also just by sharing it, you can just go hit share. Who do you want to send this thing to? But you have to come down and make sure that you change this up because it's always going to say anyone with the link can view. You have to change it to anybody with the link can edit. And then you could do like an editing panel with a group. Y'all could have sticky note galore. So I love this. I'm going to be using Jamboard with my classroom next year. We learned it at the end of the school year at a faculty, one of our workshops on how to use assistive technology kind of stuff and how to use technology. What would be something good to use? And Jamboard showed up. I was like, hooray, I could use this for my writing life. Look, guys, look what I learned. But I love me some Jamboard. So I actually... that's the one that we did for work. They taught us how to do it. But yeah, I thought it was really good. Yeah, Tish said she loves it. In my inciting incident, Becca didn't see the headline on TV. She saw a report online as she was checking the forecast on her iPhone. Very good, Anne. Very good. Like I said, whatever it is, it needs to be plausible, right? It has to be natural and plausible. So that way it doesn't look forced in there. So I loved creating that little outline sheet. That's just going to keep me going in the right direction. And it's going to remind me because I am not going to have beats memorized. I am not that kind of person. But having that visualization there, I think is going to be really beneficial for me because I've got my note-taking sheet. I've got those 4 pages. And those 4 pages opened up the flood. I know my foils. And what I loved is that while I was taking the notes, I actually was like, wait, that's not the killer is not who I thought was the killer at all. It's not this person. So Tish, when you read it, she actually said, Marcus Pugh. That's not even nowhere. No, I don't even know what that was. That was just me opening up and dumping on a page, chapter 1. Because now I know who the killer is and I know why. And then once I got that, I could start working the foils. I could start working the people that would be the suspects also that are going to lead to those dead ends. But I've got somebody that is extremely close to my killer. So that way it's that tension of, oh my gosh, who is this? You really would believe as the reader that it's that person. So I've got it like, hopefully I pull that off. See, I'm talking all the in my brain. I've got it. I've just got to see about pulling this stuff off. So yeah, I love that. So we've got the 3-act structure. Okay, I can close this one out. Oh, I got to show y'all what I did. Okay, so I gave a shout out to someone on Twitter who actually responded because I just put a question out there. There are some people that put a question out there that's not writing related. I pick at Ann and Tish about Twitter sometimes, and I'll say, sometimes these questions, I don't get people. They'll respond. It'll be like 800 no-brainer questions about, would you rather drive on the right or the left side of the road? I mean, really, it's like stuff in there, and then they tag writing community. I'll tag like a legit author question on Twitter, and I got one response. The one response was a God-given response because it's what I needed. And I had fun with something and I want to share it. So they said they created timelines to help them with plotting and they used Excel. Well, I'm not going to use Excel. But when they said timelines, I realized, hey, I could try a timeline. Where could I build a timeline at? So I went to Canva. You guys know how much I love Canva. And I typed in timeline at the top. And I went down and I got to see all of these different timelines. And I'm like, ooh, look, what can I make? So I found this volleyball one. I really like that. Maybe that blue of that wedding colors or something like drew my eye. I don't know. But I just like this one. And I was like, I am going to create myself a timeline, something that I could imagine them having inside their crime unit on one of those boards where they could post things up and have it categorized. And so I was like, I'm going to create this thing. And so I made the Sunday Killer timeline. And I don't want to like make it really big right now. And you guys can see I'm not finished, but I have actually 4 different murders already built. And I have the things that go with those murders. I have an image to go with them. Tish knows how much I love images. You guys know that's one thing. So I just took a few minutes and was just playing around with this. And I actually have so much more to give now to my story, because my story completely changed just when I went in and started to create the timeline. So the timeline made me realize, one, I don't need to have so many murders. Like at first I was like, I was going to have 28 murders from the span of two. Like this is how the first line like read from 2012 to 2019. You know, there were 28 murders, you know, accounted for by or whatever to the serial killer, blah, blah, blah. I think I wrote it like that, something. I could pull it up because I got the original. I'm never losing that original because I renamed it, got myself a second copy just to show how much I've grown from that original. And I knew one, it was just way too much. I didn't need all of that to get the point across. However, I did change another thing, which was huge for me. Because as soon as I started looking at the timeline and I was playing around with the images, I was like, okay, I was going to have the murder scene to kind of be the same. And then I was like, no, what is it that I love about Saw? Okay, so you guys know I'm a horror person. I don't know if you guys have seen Saw series. Have you guys seen Saw? So Saw is like one of my favorites. And the one thing about Saw, okay, so Sally, you know, like Saw, it's like each time there would be a victim, there would be some kind of like outlandish setup around this victim, right? So the way that I had originally wrote chapter 1, it was so, I mean, it was a unique idea, but it was not what it would have carried out in a novel. Maybe one scene, but the way I had it, I was like, no, this isn't enough. Like, that would have been so boring. And one thing a mystery cannot be, or a thriller or a crime drama, that can't be boring. And so I started thinking about, what is it that I love about Saw? What was it? And, you know, I started just breaking down some of those elements, and I was like, okay, I know what I need to do now. And so the timeline helped me visualize it a little bit more. And then I placed unique things there, like different settings there. It could not be just the same thing. And so I'm so thankful that I have taken the time and have actually plotted out all of this stuff and played around with it. And I created it my way. You saw what I did with Canva. Like, I use Canva for everything. Why not make a timeline on Canva and pull in, you know, images in there? So that was really fun for me. And I'm not finished, but it allowed me to kind of narrow and focus and then look at each crime in a new way, in a unique way. How can I do it instead of it all having like the same thing? Because it still has the pattern. There's still a pattern there. Do you know how in the serial killer documentaries or any kind of movies, there is some kind of profiler that comes in and they pick out the patterns and all of that. So there has to be something there, and there is, but you won't know what it is. Hopefully you won't get it as fast until Heather gets it, because Heather is my main character and she's got to figure it out. So then when you look back, you have to start to see the patterns. So a good way to do that is to create that visual timeline. And that timeline is like, okay, now that we've got it all out there, if you have this religious background, maybe you are able to pick it apart and be able to see things with these fresh eyes. So I think that's really cool. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I saw that, and that is in thrillers. That is. They'll say like chapter 1, and then underneath it, it will say Friday, 9:43 a.m., Shelley's apartment. Yeah. And then it'll go back and it'll say, or they'll just say like, they'll say names, Shelley, Becca. If they're doing POVs, I've seen that. But the timeline is just a great idea for me because it's allowing me to look further than what I've ever looked before. Before I would just sit right in front and I'd say, okay, let's go. And I'd just type away. But I think this time, now that I already know who my killer is, who the foils are, I know the killer's motivation. I got the why. I got all of it. Like, I've got the whole backstory of that. So now that I have that, I'm now ready and more excited to work towards that. So, yes, and that's where I got it from. Terry Blackstock did that with the If I Run. But, yeah, that was I was thinking of how she did those names. So I am enjoying trying to be a plotter. And then I laugh and say, wait, I'm not trying. I am doing it. Like, it's not hard. And it's actually bringing some value to my life. And I'm sitting on the story. I'm sitting on it a little bit. So that's the thing. That's the biggest challenge, I think, for me, is knowing that, like I'm not just sitting and going all full force in it, which it is a perfect time for us because NaNoWriMo is about to start. How many more days do we have, guys? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6 days before Nano. Yeah, I think it's common, and that stuff is very common in thrillers. They don't just say chapter 1 always. And I just think it's author preference. I like naming my chapters anyway. I named my first chapter Happy Anniversary. And instead of getting an anniversary card for her 8th year working with the FBI, she gets the serial killer case. That's her card. It's the file. So the first chapter is called Happy Anniversary. I just personally like chapter titles. So everybody has their preference, though. Some people will get on and say, well, which way should I go? You should go the way that feels good to you, what you like. And I'm sure there will be a reader that will appreciate it either way, not care. So we've got a few more days left of Nano. Sally, have you ever done NaNoWriMo? Because Anne and Tish over here, they have convinced me to do this thing. I'm excited. I'm going to be challenging myself for 50,000 words for the month of July. That is something that if you have never done, okay, so you've done it. Are you doing it in July? Are you going to get into the groups in July? I'm going to do it. I'm hoping to be through with this novel before November. So, Anne, you think that with the 50,000 Yeah, go sign up, Sally. I got a camp too. If you want to be in my thriller camp, and a Tisha in it. Yeah, it's July. These girls over here telling me all about this stuff. I actually did a live on Sunday. It took me 2 hours, but we talked nano. I signed up live and we did everything. Go, Sally. That's what Anne's working on. And Tisha's working on her mystery. She's writing cozy mystery. Yeah, let's see. So, Sally, sign in, and then you have to go friend us. You have to go and find us, or tell us what your username is, and we will find you. And trust me, Ann and Tish know how to find people on there. Yeah. So, Ann, do you think that you're going to use your nano time to push out the rest of yours? Tish, what's your word count looking like right now? Sally, I'm new. I'm new to this nano thing. Trust me. I have issues finding people too. But hey, I'm going to go try to find you right now. I'm going to look. Okay. Sally. Let's look for Sally, guys. I bet Ann's already found Sally. Ann, are you looking too? Search for users. Let's see. Oh my gosh. I found you. I am. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I'm on. Okay, send an invitation. We are not buddies, Sally. We got to fix it now. You've been doing nano since 2014. Does that number ring a bell to you, Tish and Ann? Oh, on Halloween. You've been a member since October 31st, Sally, on Halloween. Halloween's my favorite holiday. Justice for Julie. You started at November 2019. Is that what you're going to keep working on? Are you going to keep working on that one? Yeah, Ann and Tish too. And they talk about it so much. Tish actually wrote a poetry book for Nano. Let's do it, Sally. So Ann is dedicated to finishing up hers, Shadow of Truth. You've got Justice for Julie. I've got the Sunday Killer. We've got Tish. And I don't know Tish's word count right now, like where she's at. I can go and Sally, I sent you an invitation. Yay! We are now buddies. Look how fast that is to become friends in life. Okay, you're buddies with Sally. Okay, Sally, I'm going to go now, which is hilarious, and see if I can. I'm learning this website like for the first time ever. Okay, I have 3 comments in my group. I claimed a badge. What is it? Yeah, Ann, thanks for putting it up there. I see it. Okay. Also send, let's see, members, 3 members. Okay, type a username. Let me see, Sally. I'm trying to. Okay, I just invited you to our cabin in the woods. That's the name of my camp. It's for thriller and horror writers. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. See, Ann, look at that. You Halloweeners. So I'm going to be working the Sunday Killer, and I want to actually, I put up my word count goal between 55 and 65,000 words. And so if I can push out this 50,000 words during Nano. Awesome. Okay, guys. Let me go and see where I'm at right now as far as my word count, because I am just getting started. 6,700 words. So, y'all, I'm fresh into this. So, by the time Nano starts, I should be, oh, let me think, with 5 more, I should be around 1,500 words. I mean, 15,000 words. Let me message my niece. Oh my gosh, I got the best news, guys. My baby great niece, who I love, was at her birth, just got engaged. She is going to get married. Love the little guy. So as soon as I, found out, I know it was so precious. Say prayers for them, guys. Okay, I had to message my people. So if I have like 15,000 words, oh, well, congratulations to him. I know, Sally, my son is going off to Carolina. He's starting college in another month, and I am going to miss him. Like, my oldest is 17, and he's like my best friend, y'all. He's my heart. Yeah, I know, Sally. I'm feeling it too. Well, congrats. Yeah, the writing helps. The writing does help, I will say. I hope to, if I have 15,000 words, and if I can knock out this 50,000 in Nano with you guys, then I'm going to be at 65,000 words. And guess what? That's what I said at the beginning, Anne, was kind of like where I was going. I wanted a little bit under 70,000 words for the thriller. That's kind of like the thriller range. And so I'm like, as long as it's kind of like right under 70,000 words, I'm good. And that'll just be my first draft, which means that during the editing phases or during rewrites, I can definitely extend it a little bit. So I like to plan, just a little bit under for the first draft. It gives me that sense of I can get there. So, yeah, I went, Sally, for the Nano for July and was like, I'm going all in. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to try it, see what I think. My students had signed up for it in my writing club at work, but I gave them like the packet and said, go forth and write. This time I'm actually doing this thing and I'm excited. And I get to hang out with everybody. So, Tish are my writing people. And now, Sally, you're our writing people. You're with us. We have taken you in. Yeah, so, well, all right, guys, I know. So what do you think, Sally? Were you going to try any of these techniques? And have you done a timeline? Have you ever done a timeline, Sally? Yeah, I've got my people, but we are all virtual. My friend Allison lives right here, but we still are just virtual. Yeah, I love that Canva timeline thing because, I could add my pictures in there to just give me that kind of the way that I'm a learner. I'm a visual learner. And so it just really connected to just the way that I can process things. And then I can quickly look to that and looking at those visuals like that on the timeline, not just the seasons, then I'm going to get to put the victims because the victims are going to have to match a certain thing as well for the pattern to work. And so, oh, Sally, I can do tutorials. I can do some tutorials, Sally, on Canva right here. That's the one thing I love doing is showing you guys stuff. So if there's something that you want to do, if there's a particular thing, whatever that thing is, I'll show you. We could do like, I can pull and share my screen and then you can have your screen up and we can dual screen it. So you just, okay, that's just doing an Instagram post probably. I would just choose that Instagram post and use that size. I know there are a lot of meme makers. There's one of my students, he creates memes and he uses it with his phone. Oh, how dare it stop? I don't know. I don't know why it would have done that. Well, Sally broke Canva. I don't know, Sally. Maybe just try to go back to the one that worked. So like when you go, let me show you this, and just in case, because I didn't learn this until later. Like if you had one that worked, okay, and that thing worked, just go here where it says copy page, and then you can go in and then you can, take your text of your meme and then you can just change whatever it is that you want. And then I'll go in and take the pictures off. And then you can just go on over to the side and find your new photos or find your new elements. But I go to Pixabay and get my pictures, and then I upload them in here. You see these pictures that I'm uploading. I'm going over and grabbing them too and using those images from Pixabay and putting them in Canva. So that's the thing that you can do. You can use Unsplash or Pixabay, and you can pull other pictures if you can't find the ones on Canva you want. But maybe just, if you got it to work, maybe just do like a copy of what worked. And then if you've got the first one, I've made up to like 70 book covers off of just one stream, just constantly clicking copy and then just playing around with the front and changing the background and doing this and that, but keeping it into that same one. Oh, Ingram Spark is doing a why I publish story. I think it's really cool. I saw that on the Ingram Spark Instagram page. That's who I use to publish my paperback, most of my paperbacks. They sent us a thing wanting us to do it, which I think is cool. So yeah, and like stuff like that is good to know. Like that timeline thing, I think it's valuable for us to consider the timelines. And I've never thought about it until that person on Twitter said, hey, I use timelines in Excel. And I'm like, I ain't pulling up no spreadsheet. I'm not using Google Sheets for that. But it's a good idea for people who think that way with Sheets and Google Sheets or Excel. I think kind of in the visuals and Canva. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to go get some visuals. And Sally got to see where my first setting takes place, where my first crime scene is going to be. Because I had the picture up and it popped up. So yeah, I'm doing all these, and it's all going to be a different place now. And I love it. I would have done it without doing the timeline. So I'm really liking these little planning sheets. And that Save the Cat planning sheet, that's what I need. Day by day over the course of a week or two at the most. Okay. So mine, I'm having to go back and do kind of like a sequence of events that are leading up to the next crime. And he's a seasonal killer. And so he's killing once a season. And I knew that, but I didn't know like the whole timeline piece. And so I've got that now worked down. I've got it down. No, because she's got to be moving, or that would stall the story. It would stall it, Anne. You're right. And so the thing I love, and Anne knows this, Sally, I do the questioning technique when I'm reading, and then when I'm editing, when I'm rereading everything, or if I beta read, I do the same way. And I question as if I try to put on that reader hat. It's really hard when I'm writing it because I'm really close to it. But with the questioning technique, what questions am I leaving unanswered? Because if you answer all of the questions, the reader isn't going to have anything to do. And so if you keep your character in one place for too long, then there's an example of slowing that pace and dragging that reader down in quicksand, and it's just not a place where you want your reader to be. But if you also give too many, if you spoon feed them, like Tish said, I'm taking Tish's words, then you're losing an opportunity for the reader to engage with their own questions and to build their own inferences and to enter into your world with more excitement. And I think that's where I messed up. And I didn't catch it in my first draft. I wrote chapters 1 and 2 and then went back and I beta as I go. And that way it catches things. And I'm so grateful because now I've had all this time now to really rework these chapters and get a good solid start. And so now I'm into chapter 4. I wrote chapter 3 yesterday. Sally. I think that is for so many authors. And Sally is pulling up, like she can catch the plot holes, but it's harder to pinpoint that in my own work. And that's where you've got to walk away from it. So Kate DiCamillo, she's my favorite author, and I love watching tips from her too. But she talked about moving away from your story for like 2 weeks because you're so fresh into it. You're like all into that chapter that you can lose that kind of inquisitive eye. And then if you have questions, like generated questions, Anne knows that, like have a list of questions. It helps you to become someone like you're looking at a rubric, like how we would grade a student's essay or how we would grade a research paper. If you create a rubric for yourself that you could use for the beta reading process, that could be something that could be beneficial for you. If you're having a harder time doing that on your own, create yourself a rubric. And do you have your questioning list? Did you blog about that or repurpose that in a podcast or anything? Sally Ann's a podcaster too, and a YouTuber. I know Anne questions to talk with your characters about. Anne loves doing those kind of things. She has a lot of that. So if you ever need stuff like that, that can kind of help give yourself a jump start of editing your own work. But yeah, as soon as I got it out there, I have a beta reader that goes with me and reads. Tish actually loves thrillers, and Tish read chapter 1 and was like, well, I had to read it twice. And I'm like, no reader is ever going to read it twice. I've got to throw this thing away. I didn't throw it away, but I moved it over and started fresh. And then it was, okay, this is it. You got it now. So you talked about doing it, and yeah, that's something really cool. Like if you could give people like the 7 questions to consider, or maybe giving them like the top 7, like doing those blogs that have those titles like that are eye-catchy for people. Sally, that's something you could do. You could try to create yourself a blog post. You could repurpose it out all over, and you could do that. Come up with questions to catch those plot holes. So creating your own rubric to help yourself. And when you're like beta reading the next time, or when you're reading a novel the next time, then that could be something that you could say, oh, that's a good question here. That's a good technique here. And you could start making a note. Anne loves to journal. And so she'll pop them in her journal. Well, all right, guys, we are off with a new recipe tonight. We like to share here what we're eating. And I got that recipe book for Sam, which is the Elder Scrolls Online Elder Scrolls book. It's an awesome recipe book, and it's based on a game he loves. And it was really cool. Love it. So we are making meat pies for supper. And along with the meat pies, we're making chicken pot pie. So we're going to have some pies up. I said, we're going to be like we're at one of these festivals. We're going to be like at a Renaissance festival tonight. Would you like a meat pie? Would you like a chicken pot pie? So we're making all that. So the chicken pot pie ingredients have been in the crock pot since 9 o'clock this morning. So it's going to make life a lot easier for me today. And the boys are going to help me make these meat pies. Have you ever had a meat pie? Of course, I love KFC's chicken pot pie. Oh my gosh. Love that. Love it. I do love me some pot pies. Now, I grew up on banquet pot pies. Yeah, love pot pies, and I know that my mom, some nights we would have pot pie dinners, and she would make us 2 pot pies, and she would take bread and just rub butter on it, and it was not like toasted bread or anything. We would just have butter bread with pot pies, and it would be like the best night. I would look forward to pot pie night. I know why she did it now, because banquet pot pies now today are like $1 a box. I get it with the budget. I know, I love banquet pot pies. They have to be turkey though. Turkey pot pies. Which one do you like, y'all? Like I like the turkey pot pies in banquet. My husband loves the chicken ones. Yes, the turkey. See, Sally? No, well, we're actually going to make the chicken pot pies homemade. We'll see. The filling is homemade. Let me respond to this. The pie crust is not. It is packaged. It is a dough that we bought in a box. Pie crust in a box. Yeah. What does she do, Ann? She buys the boxed pie shells. I bought it in a box, and then I got some like Pillsbury roll, crescent out roll stuff. I'm like, we're gonna try all these different ones. I got 3 different brands. We're gonna like play chef with it. We're gonna see which crust comes out the best. You know, we love doing stuff like that. Yeah, we bought the boxed ones. They're in boxes. So we're going to see. I got one from Amazon, and 2 from Food Line. So I hope you guys, what y'all cooking tonight before I get off of here? And I want to know. Y'all are going to be eating pot pies for supper. I have an easy night ahead of me. We're having... Oh, man, this writing conference, y'all, this registration for some of these writing conferences is crazy. See? And I told you, it's this art of suggestion. Pot pies or pizza. It'll have me. I like making pizzas here at the house, too. Yeah, we have to talk food at the end. I don't know why. It's just what we do, Sally. All right, guys. All right, Sally, you'll let us know tomorrow. So the kids will be going, what are we having again? What are we eating? This is no joke. My 12-year-old, as soon as we eat, he'll go upstairs. And then if I don't get the text that says, hey, what are we having tomorrow? Or I'll go up in the room to check on him, and he'll go, what are we eating tomorrow? And I'll be like, we just had dinner. Like, really? Yeah, but what are we having tomorrow? It never fails, Sally. So I have a sheet beside the refrigerator that I write Sunday through Saturday, and it's there. It's on the refrigerator, but he still asks me. Like, he's like, so what are we having? What is it? And he's up there. I try to plan for this a week at a time. Hilarious. If I had one of those big, gigantic, like one day when we get our dream house, which is a little country farmhouse, and I actually get a deep freezer, a big freezer, then I can plan more than 1 week at a time. But because there's like cooking for 5 people, there's no way I could have space just in a regular refrigerator freezer unit. So I have to only do a week at a time. Yeah, I know. And he's at a sweet age. That's what he is. That's hilarious. Well, all right, guys. I love y'all and thank y'all for hanging out. I hope that you guys got some tips today. I know I'm excited about continuing to try these routes, and I'm going to continue to write. I know Ann asked me about were we doing the writing, and I actually called this one the writing sprint, but I had scheduled this one for us just to talk about plotting and planning and all of that. So I don't know if I'll get on here later and do a sprint. Probably not. I might be done for the day. We'll see. But I'll talk with you guys later. Bye, guys.